Going on Nitrocytes, it is your boy the Nitro General here, and welcome back to another video. Now, I do apologize for the lack of videos that have been going up. I have had like zero time to record anything, and I feel really bad. But I just haven't had time, and even when I did, I didn't have the drive to make any. So hopefully, videos like this are going to be back. Hopefully there will be one tomorrow. I'm not going to promise anything because Lord knows I haven't been able to keep my promises with anything YouTube related recently at all. So I do really apologize for that. I know the NPBA, which is, if you guys didn't know, the draft league that Pokemon draft league that I started, the Nitro Pokemon Battle Academy, was supposed to be starting really soon, but unfortunately, it has to be put off because my Nintendo account was hacked. Luckily, no credit card information or anything was stolen, but the Nintendo representative that I talked to told me to, for the time being, until they can know it's safe, that I should avoid going online, which means that the NPBA is going to have to be pushed back. So I do apologize for anybody in there or whatever, but it does give everybody more time. If you want to join it, go check out some of my other videos I've done on it. In the link to the Discord server is in there. If you want to join, it's completely free. So yeah. So in this episode of my tier list video series, I'm going to be ranking Pokemon competitively. Now, this is all my own opinion on it. I'm going to be spending a little bit more time than usual just talking about the Pokemon. I am not going to be doing every single Pokemon. Only any Pokemon has any competitive viability. And by that, I mean any Mega Evolutions, anything like that, any Final Evolutions, any Pokemon that don't evolve, or any Pokemon. Basically, no first or second Pokemon evolutions. I won't be going over first or second Pokemon evolutions unless they have competitive viability, which usually they don't. I'm going to try to make this video not too long, but long enough to... There will be lots of different episodes of this, as I do want to do every Pokemon up until January 2020, which is all the Pokemon that were released about this time are on this list. So I'm going to see how far we can get in this video. I'm not going to make it too long, but... So, with the sake of conserving time, let's get right into it. If you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure to smack that like button and subscribe, because I make videos like this all the time as much as I can. And, yeah, I want to keep making videos for you guys. And if you like this, if you like looking at this ugly mug here, and you enjoy my commentary, then subscribe and like, because the more you do that, then the more it is likely that we can get this channel partnered, and I can start getting paid to make you guys videos, because that would be a dream come true. So let's get right into it. So we're going to be starting off with Generation 1 with all the Mega Evolutions and everything. So, Venusaur. I don't know. There is a lot of tier lists and tier rankings in here, so we'll see. I will probably only going to be using S through D, S being amazing, A being pretty good, B being, you know, they can be good, but they can also be bad. C is they're not very good, and D is like they're terrible. They have no competitive viability whatsoever. So, Venusaur, I'm gonna put in A. I'm going to put Venusaur in A because it does have reliable recovery. It is relatively bulky. Poison is a really good typing competitively, and it does get access to stuff like Sun. And it is more viable in VGC than it is in regular singles, because of the fact that it can be used to set up Sun for Fire-type Pokemon or stuff like that. They're pretty good. That's why I am putting Mega Venusaur in S, because of just the fact that it is extremely bulky. It hits alright hard. I mean, you can give this a Mental Herb, and you can give it Solar Beam, or you can have it set up the Sun and then use Solar Beam or whatever like that. Hits definitely harder. It definitely has a lot of more competitive viability. I've seen a lot of people have success with Mega Venusaur. I have never really used Venusaur before. I may give it a little bit of a shot in the new games, but... And it also is worth mentioning that I am only going to be ranking their compile their competitive viability in the most recent games they are. So that is Ultra Sun and Moon or Sword and Shield, depending on what games they were most recently in. And yeah, so let's just, because I know some Pokemon were a lot better in previous generations, like Archeops or stuff like that. And I will mention that, but I am not going to be ranking them on their past viability, only what they are right now. So Charizard, I'm going to put Charizard in the S tier as well as both of the Mega Evolutions. Charizard is a really, really, really good Pokemon in general, especially in the new games with G-Max Charizard and everything like that. It's just really good. It does get access to the ability Solar Power, which means that its fire attacks are, or maybe it's just attacks in general, are hit so much harder in the sun. So if you can get like a Pokemon with Drought, like Ninetales or something to come out and set up the sun, or even just pair it with like Venusaur, like I talked about before. Any Pokemon that has ability to like Sunny Day or being able to set up the sun, it is really, really good for Charizard. The both of the Megas are good because they hit harder and they're bulky. It is pretty nice. You can go for more of the like a Dragon Dance set, like I have tried multiple times, but Charizard doesn't hit as hard on the physical side as it does on the special side, so it is probably not going to be as good with the Dragon Dance, but you can also always go. And it is worth mentioning that Charizard does not get agility, and I was like really banking on using a competitive Charizard with agility, and it just doesn't get it. And I am like severely irritated that there are some Pokemon that get agility, but Charizard doesn't. A big dragon does not get agility. I don't know. It's just irritating that Charizard does not get agility. But yeah, so Blastoise I'm also going to put into the A tier. It is way better in these new games just because of the fact that it does get access to Shell Smash and it does get access to Rapid Spin. It always got access to Rapid Spin, I believe, but with its buff now, I mean, it does more damage and it actually raises the user's speed stat now when you use it in these new games. And that is really, really good. So not only is it really good to get rid of hazards and everything like that, but it is just, it's really good. I mean, the speed stat doesn't benefit Blastoise as much since it's not a super fast Pokemon, but it's also not the slowest Pokemon. So that is why Mega Blastoise is also going to be in the A tier, just because it's pretty good, but I don't think it's your, benefit of using Mega Blastoise over regular Blastoise in any way. I mean, it does hit harder and it's a little bit more bulky, but there's no sense. Like, if you're going to use a different Mega Evolution or whatever, I don't know. I mean, Megas are always better than their original forms, but I tend to think that Mega Blastoise has not seen as much light as regular Blastoise has, and definitely not as much as Mega Venusaur and Mega Charizard, so, but that's just my thoughts. So, we're going to move on now to Butterfree, which I'm going to put into the B tier, because surprisingly, I have seen people who have had some success with Butterfree. I think it gets access to Quiver Dance, which is decently good, and it can be good. It can be decently fast. It's not super fast. But it does get access to stuff like Poison Powder and Sleep Powder. Of course, Sleep Powder is not viable in VGC because you can't use sleep-inducing moves in VGC. But it is probably better in doubles than it is singles, but it can be good. G-Max Butterfree is also pretty decent, but I have never used Butterfree. Bug is arguably one of the worst typings. I know people like A-Drive and stuff would disagree, and it can be good. I mean, if you know how to use it, it can be good. I have just never had any luck with using a Butterfree, but I know that it can be decent. Now, coming up next is Beedrill. Now, Beedrill is not a great Pokemon, so I am going to be putting Beedrill in... I'm going to put it in D, because regular Beedrill Beedrill is one of my favorite Pokemon. If you guys didn't know, I am deathly afraid of bees in real life because of the fact that I'm allergic to them. So I've always been deathly afraid of bees. But for some reason, Beedrill has always been one of my favorite Pokemon. I love Beedrill, but like I said, you know what? I'll move it into the C tier because it is kind of fast. But Mega Beedrill, on the other hand, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I'm putting it in the S tier. It is super fast, like lightning fast. It is such a good Pokemon to use competitively. I myself have had so much success using Mega Beedrill. It hits hard. It is not bulky in any sense whatsoever, but it gets access to like toxic spikes. It gets access to, poison jab, X scissor, a lot of good hard hitting. I think it gets access to quiver dance. I could be wrong, but maybe not. I don't know. But you can give it like agility. I had a really, really good usage using toxic spikes, toxics, X scissor, and maybe agility, maybe something like that. I don't remember what my set was. Or poison jab was one of them. Poison jab, toxic spikes, X scissor, and another move. Maybe it was just toxic. I don't think it was just toxic, but it is really, really good. I love using Mega Beedrill. One of my favorite Pokemon to use competitively, just in general. Pidgeot is going to be... I'm going to put it in C. Not Pidgeotto, Pidgeot. And Mega Pidgeotto. Pidgeot is going into B tier. It is fast, but it being a normal typing, it does take damage to fighting type moves, and it does get reliable recovery in Roost. But I've never seen anybody use Pidgeot competitively. I have never thought about using it. You can't use it in Sword and Shield unless they add it in the DLC because of the fact that they're not in the games, but I don't know. I have never had any success with using them. I've never seen anybody have any success with using them, but I do know that it is Mega Pidgeot is relatively bulky and is decently fast, but I have never seen anybody do anything with it. But I am not going to rule it out, so that's why I am just going to say that Pidgeot's going to be in the C tier, and yeah. But we are going to go into Raticate now. Now, I am going to put... Wait, do they not have regular Raticate on here? I don't think they do. That's alright. They were both going into D tier no matter what. Raticate is not fast. It is not bulky whatsoever. I'm just looking to see if I missed it here somehow. It is not bulky at all. It does not hit hard. It is just a bad Pokemon around. So why anybody would use it, I do not know, but I have to include it in here. So Eradicate is just not a good Pokemon. Pikachu. Now I am going to include Pikachu because people have had success with it. I'm going to put it in the C tier just because it is, I don't think it's worth putting in D tier. Putting an Eviolite on it could be decent, and I know GMAX Pikachu people have had some success with. Is it a great Pokemon? No. Is it a terrible Pokemon? No. And as much as it pains me to do this, I'm also going to be putting Arbok in the D tier along with Fearow because neither of these are good Pokemon. Again, Fearow is a little bit not as good as Pidgeot. In my opinion, it is less bulky, it is less fast, and it does not hit as hard. Why anybody would use Fearow competitively, I don't know. Arbok is alright. You can do a coil set with it, raise its defenses, and I know it gets access to Toxic Spikes, and in earlier generations, it got access to Toxic, as most Pokemon did. But I don't think it's really worth using. I don't think it's good. I've never seen anybody have any success with using it. I mean, you might be able to, but I don't know. Raichu, on the other hand, I'm going to put both forms of Raichu in A tier. Raichu is, I think, alone Raichu is bulkier than regular Raichu. And I know a lot of people have had a lot of success using Alolan Raichu. It does get access to Levitate, which is, or its ability allows it to be like levitated or whatever, and Psychic is a really good typing, because if you guys didn't know, in Generation 1, the Psychic type had 0 weaknesses, except for Ghost, but I think there was a bug that made it so it wasn't very effective. I don't know. Something like that. But I have had success using Raichu. Raichu is actually one of the first shiny Pokemon that I hunted for in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which is really when I got into shiny hunting a lot. So yeah, I think Raichu has, I know a lot of people have had success using Raichu. A lot of success, just because it is a decent Pokemon. So that's just the thing. Sandslash. Okay. So I'm going to put Alolan Sandslash in C, and I'm going to put regular Sandslash in D. Now, I will tell you why. They're relatively the same stats-wise, but Ice is a better typing, in my opinion, because it has more resistances than Ground, and it hits a little bit harder. They both get access to Rapid Spin, and they both get access to Stealth Rocks, which are both really good moves competitively. I just think Alolan is a little bit better because of it being an Ice typing, and it hits a little bit harder with stuff like Icicle Crash, and stuff like that. And I think it still gets access to Earthquake as well as regular Sandslash does. But I have never seen anybody use regular Sandslash at all competitively. But I have seen some people use Alolan Sandslash. But yeah. So the next one is Nidoking and Nidoqueen. Now, I'm going to put them both in B because I know they can be good. I know they get access to Stealth Rocks, and I know they get access to Toxic Spikes. I've seen more people use Nidoking than I have seen Nidoqueen, but they are relatively around the same competitively. So I do know that you can have success with them. I have never had success with them. Nidoking I have tried to use competitively before, and I'm looking forward to trying to use it again when it comes out for one of the DLCs. I can't remember which one it is, but I'm looking forward to using it. So they do get, decent stuff. They do hit pretty hard with stuff like Poison Jab and Earthquake and stuff. They get a lot of access to a lot of moves like that. Clefable is really bulky, and I know a lot of people have had success using it, so I'm going to put it in A tier only because of that fact. So it gets access to stuff like Moonblast and Recover. I think it gets Recover. I'm not totally sure, but I think it does. And I have never used Clefable, but I know a lot of people have, and I know that it has had a lot of success using it. So, yeah, just because it is so bulky, I've seen people bring it to VGC matches and stuff like that. Ninetales, I am impartial to Ninetales being one of my favorite top 5 favorite Pokemon of all time. I'm going to put them both in the A tier. They are both relatively bulky. Fairy type is an amazing typing in general, which is, again, I think another reason why Clefable is widely used. So, Alolan Ninetales being the Ice and Fairy typing is really well. I've already been mentioned in this video that Ice is a decent typing competitively because it is only weak to ground, fire, and fighting. I think it might be weak. No, it's super effective against rock, or it's super effective against ground. It's weak to, I don't remember, something like that. But yeah, it is decent. It gets access to stuff like Ice Beam and D-Gleam and stuff like that. Regular Ninetales does have the ability Drought, like I mentioned earlier, with Charizard, so you can always give it Drought. It is pretty fast. It gets access to like Quick Attack and stuff if you ever want to use that. You can give it Will-O-Wisp, Flamethrower, Overheat, anything really like that. Sunny Day if you really want to use Flash Fire Ninetales instead of Drought, but I don't know. I tend to like Flash Fire, but I don't really have any Pokemon that benefit from the sun, except for Ninetales on my Ninetales competitive team, so I don't really give it Drought, but it can get it. I think it gets Drought, but Wigglytuff is not a good Pokemon. It is a Fairy type, but it is, I think it's Fairy normal, or is it just Fairy? Or is it just normal? I think it might be just normal, actually. But, Yeah, it's not competitively viable at all. I've never seen anybody use it ever. I've seen some people try to use it in Draft League, but it never works out good. So, yeah, I'm hopefully going to be able to wrap up Gen 1, but I don't know if I'll be able to do it in this video. I am. I'll try. I'll include Golbat. I'm going to put it in D just because I don't know. It's not a good Pokemon, but we'll put it in C because I know that if you give it the Eviolite, it does. It is a little bit more bulky and it hits a little bit more hard, but we're gonna put it in D. We're gonna put it in D just because it's not really good. Vileplume, I'm gonna put into B because I know a lot of people have had success with it. I tend to don't like to use grass Pokemon competitively. Stuff like Venusaur stuff is a little bit different because it's a little bit more bulky than Vileplume, but I have seen people use like Mental Herb, Solar Beam on it, or Poison Powder, Sleep Powder. I think does it get access to Spore? I do not know. Actually, I don't remember. I know it gets access to Synthesis, I think, but you can give it like Grass Knot and stuff too if you want, Poison Jab, but it's an alright Pokemon. You can have success with it. Parasect, on the other hand, I'm also going to have to be putting in the D tier because it is not good. Along with, we'll do Venomoth here too. Is also going to go into the D tier. Not Diglett. Diglett would go into the D tier because it's not. But, I mean, they're alright. As much as it pains me to do this, I'm going to put Alolan Dugtrio in B and regular Dugtrio in C. The only reason Alolan Dugtrio is going into B is because it does get access to the Steel typing, which is decent because Steel is a really, really good ability, and this means that Fire is actually neutral against it because it being Steel ground. So Fire is actually super effective against it. But other than that, it's really just Fire and Water are the only things that are super effective. And Grass maybe too. I don't remember because of being a Steel typing, but it is decent. It does get access to like Stealth Rocks. It does get access to Earthquake, stuff like that. I mean, Hone Claws, I know it gets access to, so if you want to do like a Hone Claws Earthquake set, you could also do that, like Hone Claws Earthquake, Stealth Rock, and yeah, I don't even know what you'd use for the last move. I've never used Dugtrio, but I do like it as a Pokemon. I do not like the Alolan form, but yeah. Now, we'll not you. We'll just see Persian. Now, okay, regular Persian, I love regular Persian, but it's not good competitively. Alolan Persian is a little bit better than regular Persian. It is a little bit more bulky, and it is a dark typing, which is better than normal typing, which means that it does get access to stuff like Night Slash, which is Stab, and everything like that, which is a little bit better than the regular Persian. Golduck, I don't think is that good at all, and I mean, I guess maybe you could do some, like, surf shenanigans, especially in VGC, hitting at both Pokemon. I don't know, Primeape, I'm going to put it in C tier. I have never had any success with Primeape, but I do know that it has a decently high attack stat, so using, like, Cross Chop or Close Combat or anything with it is pretty good, so yeah, Arcanine is going to go into S tier. Arcanine is a great competitive Pokemon, especially in the newer generations. So, I've always enjoyed using it. So, it gets access to stuff like Flash Fire and Intimidate, which are both really, really good attacks, depending on, usually people go for Intimidate over Flash Fire, but this Pokemon gets like Agility, gets Flamethrower, Flare Blitz, E-Speed. Arcanine is just a fantastic Pokemon. In general, it's fast, hits hard, decently bulky. I definitely think it is going to be one of the most widely used competitive Pokemon in this new generation. Poliwrath is going to go to B. I mean, again, it does get a lot of good stab fighting attacks like submission, which does do recoil, but I think it gets access to close combat too. I'm not totally sure, but I know it gets access to stuff like waterfall too. Good stab type, water type move. I don't think it's in Sword and Shield, which is a little disappointing, but I have seen some people have a little bit of success using it. I think Poliwrath is a really, really cool Pokemon, but, yeah. Alakazam. I'm going to put both Mega Alakazam and regular Alakazam in the A tier, along with, just because they hit these loud. Again, Psychic is a really good typing. It does get access to recover. It gets, it gets good, reliable recovery. Psychic is really, really strong. I know it gets access to a lot of different moves like Focus Blast. It gets access to Grass Knot. It gets access to a lot of different moves that you wouldn't expect it to get access to. So there is a lot of room for special moves to be used on it. I'm gonna try to wrap this video up a little quicker just because I don't want to make it too long. There is still a lot of Pokemon left in this generation, so I am only going to do a few more Pokemon here, and then we'll move on to the next episode when we start, whenever that next episode is. So, Machamp, I'm going to put into... I'm going to put it into A tier. I love Machamp. Machamp was always one of my favorite Pokemon. It was my favorite Pokemon up until, 6 years ago. But I think Machamp is pretty dope. It gets access to stuff like close combat, cross chop, all the elemental punches. I think it gets access to Earthquake, but I'm not totally sure. But it definitely can hit really, really hard in the right circumstances. It's not fast, and it's not that bulky, but it can be. Victory Bell, or I don't know. That was supposed to be a joke, but I don't know. Victory Bell, I am going to put into B. Again, grass typing is not my forte. I do not know how people use it competitively, but it's in the same boat with Tentacruel. I've seen people have success with both Victory Bell and Tentacruel, being that, Tentacruel gets stuff like Toxic Spikes, Waterfall. It is decently bulky, but Victory Bell, on the other hand, is decently bulky, but that's really the only thing it has going for it. You can do like a Swallow Spit Up set if you wanted to do that. I have never done that, but yeah. We're just going to go to Rapidash here, and then we will end off the video. So the next Pokemon I'm going to be talking about is Golem. Now, I'm going to put both... I'm actually going to put regular Golem in B tier and Alone Golem in C tier, just because of the fact that with it being rock electric, it is now 4 times weak to ground rather than just regular weak to ground. So, but Golem, having the sturdy ability is decent competitively because it can't be one-shot. Rock is a decent type competitively. It's got a lot of resistances along with ground too. It's not the best Pokemon, but I think you can use it in a lot of situations. I know it tends to go boom a lot, and I know when Pokemon go boom, it's usually not that good. But I have had some success with using Pokemon that blow up, like Fortress. I've had a lot of success using. So, but yeah, and then Rapidash. I'm gonna put both Rapidashes here in the B tier. Regular Cantonian Rapidash is better than Galarian Rapidash, but Galarian Rapidash is my favorite new Pokemon that they came out with in Sword and Shield. It just is. I think it is a fantastic Pokemon, but it is more of a physical attacker, and it gets play rough, but that is the only physical type move that it gets. Stab physical type move that it gets. Psycho Cut, it does get too, but that's not great compared to like Psychic or something, but Psychic is special. You can give it, I don't know, I know regular Ninetales gets like Flash Fire, and you can give it like Flare Blitz Agility. Stuff like that is decently nice. I know it's a fast Pokemon, but yeah. So this is where we're going to wrap up tonight's video, guys. I really, really hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did like this video where I'm going over ranking Pokemon competitively, leave a like down below, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hopefully there'll be another episode of this tomorrow, or just another video in general tomorrow. But I really, really hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that like button. Hit the bell too, so when I do miss another video, you won't be disappointed. Go check out the NPBA Discord server too. There's a lot of cool people in there that you can talk to about it, and hopefully this situation will get resolved soon, and then we can start. But other than that, guys, that is it from me. So like I say at the end of every video, I really, really hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Nitro General out. Peace.